Hey, it's time to talk ball, y'all. Baseball, that is.
Baseball.
It might have been time to talk ball, y'all, quite a few minutes ago, but for a rough ninth inning by Rangers pitchers, not so rough, however, that the Rangers lost this game because they came into that ninth with a 10-2 lead. John Radigan, Abby Jones here. DLLS Rangers podcast. Jeff Wilson's out at Globe Life Field. He'll be joining us with post-game thoughts and reaction. But this thing was really, forget the ninth inning. Other than the ninth inning, it was a thing of beauty because the Rangers won a series from, as I mentioned, the team that is the best on the road in baseball.
Yeah, no doubt. And thanks for bringing popcorn. I felt like we were watching a movie tonight.
Next time it's peanuts.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. I mean, this is the first time that the Rangers have been in double digits since guess when?
They played the White Sox sometime, I bet.
Yeah. July 24th.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's been a minute. This felt like vintage. I say vintage hilariously. 2023.
Right.
Texas Rangers offense. The boys got it done. The ninth, I'm sure we're going to get into it. I do want to mention a 54-pitch ninth inning with three guys on the mound.
That's why we should have been on with
like
you
I
about
said,
a half
it was a
hour
movie.
ago. Yeah. It's okay. We win. 10-6.
But we did win.
Rangers win by a final of 10-6, and the lead in this game is the headline, is the little tagline you saw on there. We used both of his nicknames, Nasty Nate and Nate the Great, and he was, he was just great. He was nasty, and he was great.
No doubt about it. That's what Nathan Eovaldi does. They say that he rises to the occasion. This is no doubt what he does. I mean, you saw it all postseason last year. Something about Nathan Eovaldi, I mean, he's always good, but he's always so dialed in and locked on during these matchups. And everyone around the clubhouse is saying what a great baseball mind he is. I could see him in his future after he's done playing, maybe being a pitching coach like Mike Maddox, because, before lighters start the series off, Nathan Eovaldi was sitting and talking to him. I don't know exactly what they were talking about, but I saw some scouting reports out, giving tips and tricks, and who better to get the job done tonight than Nathan Eovaldi. Let's take a look at his stat line tonight. It was just lights out stuff, which Marcus Stroman, you just thought he was going to go longer. Here we've got Nate, 99 pitches too. I mean, it was so efficient, so effective. Another quality start from Nathan Eovaldi. I liked everything that I saw from him tonight.
Yeah, and to your point, Stroman had 80 pitches at the time that he exited the game in the fourth after 3 2/3. Nate didn't get to 80 pitches until the sixth inning. He ends up throwing 99. He goes 7. He gets an ultra-quality start. That's his 8th of the season and his 3rd in a row. Mm-hmm. It's also his 90th win. So he's sneaking up on 100. Nathan Eovaldi will get there. And it's just it's a joy to watch the guy. Even when he had, a couple of relatively tough innings. In that 3rd inning, he had a couple of walks, uncharacteristic. In fact, he had 3 walks on the night, very uncharacteristic for Nate. But, he didn't let those 2 walks cripple him or even didn't let either of them score. And often you hate that, but so often those walks, those free passes come back to haunt you.
Not with Nate.
They didn't haunt him there. Yeah. And then, they were able to, with 2 outs, actually, they rallied in the 5th inning, the Yankees did, with 2 outs. And after he got the 8 and 9 hitters to ground out, Torres walked, and then Soto kind of did what Soto does. I mean, it was actually kind of a cheapy home run, if you will, down the left field line that basically just curled around the foul pole. So that's the 2 runs. And that was it as far as mistakes. Nate allows only 4 hits, as you saw on the graphic. And it was just a really fun night to watch him pitch. 6 strikeouts, and he was in control the entire game.
I mean, he is. That's why he's Nate the Great. Let's take a look at the arsenal that he used tonight. 4-seam fastball. He threw it for 39% of the time. The next up was the splitter. He was going there 25% of the time, and then the curve. So, he has his dominant pitches that he likes to do, distributes them well. His location was great. I want to talk about Stroman a little bit. That was, we looked at his arsenal before, so many different things, but he only went 3 2/3, 9 hits. 5 earned runs, 1 walk, 3 Ks. So, the Yankees weren't expecting him to be pulled as quick as he was, but he put him in a bad situation early. Dave Raymond said a hilarious statement. He said, I'm going to ask a rhetorical question. When have you seen the Rangers be up 5-0 in a baseball game in a while?
Well,
and
it's
been a minute.
Who you'd never want to ask that question to? Andrew Heaney.
Oh,
Andrew's
man.
like, how about a run for me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Andrew, hard luck Heaney is what we've been calling him around here, because the poor guy just hasn't gotten any run support. And, again, last night, he just didn't get enough, although the Rangers came back to have that beautiful, dramatic victory. That was an amazing thing. The Rangers don't win series when they don't win the first game of the series, but they did today. They did against Oakland, right? The last 2 in a row have been by winning the last 2 games of a series when the pressure's on. And again, this one, 10-6 looks, it's one of those games where you say it was not nearly as close as the score would indicate, because it wasn't close for a long time. And, it happens sometimes in baseball. Very interesting, very fun night. Lots to talk about from an offensive perspective that you love.
What's funny, Rads?
Yeah.
Is Langford delivered offensively last night and defensively tonight.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
So Langford is a guy that's really doing it all. And guys, he's a rookie.
Yeah, and here's the thing. He delivered offensively tonight, first of all, just with the bat. But here's the thing I loved about this game from an offensive standpoint. The aggressive base running. They were all over the place. The Rangers had 3 steals tonight, but the instances where they went from first to third on either a single, of course on a double you're generally going to, although it's not always, that's a given, and sometimes you'll score, but the first to third on a single happened, and Wyatt Langford made it happen. And it was really wonderful to watch him run the bases. Leody Taveras run the bases. When Langford scored in the which run was it that Wyatt scored? He was right on the heels of Josh Smith, and Josh isn't slow. But in the 5th inning, when Wyatt scored, he was, on Josh Smith's heels as they both crossed the plate.
I talked to Tony Beasley this week because I was a little bit shocked at Simeon. He was on first and then made it to third. And I'm like, this veteran has wheels, and he said, I know his pace, but he said Langford is the fastest guy.
Yeah, he is. He's the fastest guy on the team. Now, we saw some speed from Travis Jankowski there too. We always do, and loved it. And often, it's defensively that we see that. And we saw him dive for that ball. That was the frustrating part about that 9th inning, is that, you had those 2 quick outs to Jankowski, including that first one that looked like it was going to drop for a base hit. And Travis ran in and kind of shoestring caught it and dove. And, okay, good. There we go. Now, that's it. And then a fly ball to him, and then 7 more dudes come to the plate in Yankee colors.
Yeah, no, they went through the lineup in the 9th completely. But you know what? I want to point out, Texas Rangers won without Marcus Semien or Corey Seager playing today.
Yeah.
Against the Yankees.
Yeah.
That's like no easy task.
Yeah.
So, I am impressed with what I saw. We will be getting post-game reaction from Jeff Wilson. He's out at Globe Life Field right now. Rads and I have just been kicking it tonight, loving this post-game show. Let us know your thoughts on how you thought the series went, maybe questions that you have for the upcoming 4-game series against the Los Angeles Angels. We're going to get into a lot of it here. So
yeah, and
we've got a full hour for you guys.
We've got to talk about Adolis. Adolis was wonderful tonight because he comes through with 3 RBIs in the game. He had a hit, a double, in the game. He had an RB and the double scored 2, by the way. The double was the one that scored both Josh Smith and Wyatt Langford. But so, and then he also had an RBI and a fielder's choice. He was doing a great job. It's nice to see him get 3 RBIs. Ezekiel Duran, I mean, that guy tonight was fantastic. And he is, Boch told us he wants to give Zeke more of an opportunity here in this September to see exactly what he has. Zeke came out last year and won after Corey Seager got hurt early. He came out and basically won over the position and took it literally from his, teammate and former Yankees minor league teammate, right, Josh Smith, right? Yep. This year, Josh got the opportunity, and he kind of took it away from Zeke. Now it's Zeke's turn to show again what he can do, and I loved the way he was tonight. He had a double early in the game. He had a couple of hits.
They're versatile guys.
Yeah, he had 2 RBIs. I mean, it was really nice to see the way Ezekiel Duran was hitting the ball. He looked like Ezekiel Duran of last year.
You know what I'm going to chalk that up as? Dad strength.
Mm.
He is going to be having a baby boy
September
20th.
Oh, there you go. That's good.
But let's talk about what this means for the Yankees, because now they have dropped 3 consecutive series. And when you look at the AL West, AL East, sorry. The Yankees had the best record in the American League before we started the series. And now, I haven't checked on the Orioles score, but the Orioles were leading the American League prior to tonight's game. The Yankees lost. Obviously, it's going to set them back a little bit more. But like we said, they have the best record on the road. So dropping 3 series in a row is so uncharacteristic for the Yankees. And when it's coming to September baseball, that simply just can't happen. We've talked about the Yankees pen and Clay Holmes, last night and the night before. But when it comes to September baseball, how pivotal are these moments for 2 teams on one side of the ball and the other?
Yeah, well,
the
the
Yankees
thing is,
and the Rangers.
If you're the Yankees, you do not feel great about going into a spring with a closer that you can't count on. Their setup guys are fantastic. Their closer has 11 blown saves to lead the American.
Most in Major League
Baseball.
Yeah.
So that's bad. Now the Orioles did lose tonight, so they're 81 and 60. The Yankees, of course, lost. They're 80 and 60, so it's still a half game separating the 2. But your point is well taken. You really, if you're a Yankees fan or Yankees follower, you're probably concerned about what these Yankees are going to be in the postseason. On the other side, as you brought up, if you're a Rangers fan, you're feeling pretty good. You're feeling pretty good. Now, you're 67 and 73 right now. But you're 11 and 5 in your last 16 games. 11 and 5. That's a fantastic record. You are 7 and 2 in your last 9 games. So these are winning percentages that are, the kind that can help you maybe get to that, as Jeff threw out there earlier this year,
81.
That drive to 81. Can they get to 500? The schedule sets up for it. This was the toughest series they had, and they won it. They won it against the Yankees, and they won it against a team that is still does have the best road record in Major League Baseball, despite losing 2 in a row to the Rangers.
No doubt about it. And I want to point out how incredible the Rangers handled the American League MVP, Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
I mean, Judge leads majors and home runs, RBI, on-base percentage, slugging, OPS, walks, times on base, total bases, extra base hits. Like, the list goes on and on. Before the game, he was 2 for 10. I mean, he sets a season high of most games without a home run, which is 9 games, which is insane. But they were able to shut them down.
Yeah.
So you're starting to have a little bit of hope for the Texas Rangers. And tonight
no
felt
doubt.
good. The
No
offense
doubt.
felt good.
Yep, it really did. And they've got 4 more at home. We're going to get to that a little bit later on in the program. Wondering if you think the Rangers can get to 81. It's a lofty goal. Let us know in our chat below. Yeah, let us know if you think the Rangers can get to 81 wins. We'd love to hear what you think. We'd like you to like us and subscribe to us too. And we get to all those responses and all your thoughts as we continue. But first, I want to tell you all about one of our favorite groups, and that's Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Yeah, I mean, it's just as simple as that.
It's catchy.
Indeed is. It's a catchy little phrase, and it's more than that. It's a great company. It's a company that doesn't really just necessarily search for qualified candidates. It matches you with qualified candidates. And that's the key. You want the best candidate you can possibly find for the job. And that's what Indeed does. 3.5 million companies worldwide use Indeed. It's just an unbelievable group of really fantastic companies.
The perfect match is important. I think a lot of shows these days would tell us that.
There's no question about that. You have to have the right people in the right place in order to make things happen properly. And thankfully, here at ALLCITY, we feel like they've done.
Us, right?
We feel like they've done that here at ALLCITY. We know they can get that done for you at Indeed. So do this. Go to Indeed.com/ALLCITY, and you will get a $75 sponsored job credit. Now, what's that? I'm not familiar with Indeed. That is basically a chance to get your job out there to the most qualified candidates. It basically puts your job in a premium position of the advertising to those qualified candidates. So you mean you might,
like they might enjoy the job that they get matched with?
Wouldn't that be something?
They might love working like we do.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
even at 10:30 at night
when
we start a post-game show. Indeed.com/ALLCITY. When you need to hire, you need Indeed.
Well, tonight could be a fun night for the fellas.
Yeah.
They just beat the Yankees.
Yep.
However, they do have a job tomorrow, 4-game series.
They do, but it's not
pivotal.
it's not a getaway day or anything today.
Not.
So it's just a normal night. Go.
But an off day is coming on Monday.
Yeah.
I would make the suggestion of Z-Biotics. Do you know what that is?
I have heard about this new product, and it sounds awesome.
Z-Biotics is, you know how after a night out, you typically have to pick one or the other. A good night or a good morning.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of eliminates that problem for you. You can have both. You can literally have your cake and eat it too with Z-Biotics. It is a pre-drinking product. It's pre-alcohol. It's the first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by a PhD scientist to tackle the rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, there are converted toxins and they get passed down to a byproduct in the gut. And this is the byproduct that makes you dehydrated, which makes you feel so not great. And the pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to kind of break this byproduct down. So it's like doing all the work for you. It's kind of like Wyatt Langford right now, the Rangers.
Right, exactly.
So you can just pack Z-Biotics, if you're going to a wedding, Rads if you're going out on the golf course with your boys.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff's, I think he likes to fish.
He's a golfer. No, he's a golfer too, yeah.
Okay.
Jeff will play some golf.
Z-Biotics would be your best friend. 15% off when you use the code DLLS Rangers, and you can go to zbiotics.com/DLLS Rangers, 15% off, and we are the gift that keeps on giving.
We really are, and we appreciate you supporting all of our sponsors, and we appreciate all of our sponsors too. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast as we continue to wrap up a series victory and a beautiful victory tonight over the New York Yankees by the Texas Rangers. Now, I say beautiful. The ninth inning is just forgettable.
There's hiccups in the road.
Ultimately, the outcome is a beautiful thing. Winning a series against the Yankees is a beautiful thing. And Corey says, yeah, Wyatt's a stud. There is no doubt about it. Let's just look and bring out a few of these Wyatt Langford numbers, not only from tonight, but really from recently, all right? So tonight, Wyatt reached base in 4 of 5 trips to the plate, a double, a single, and a walk. He had a couple of RBIs. He's 7 for 16. That's 438. It's just an unbelievable on the homestand. He has extra base hits. He has the second longest such streak in his career of 5 games, and he is becoming, he is with 10 plus home runs, 20 plus doubles, and 60 plus RBIs. He's climbing up the ranks of the best rookies in Rangers history.
I think we got to come up with like a really cool nickname for him.
Yeah, now I liked what Dave Raymond threw out there today because he also has 3 walk-off hits, and that's the
Wyatt?
most. Yeah, walk-off Wyatt.
That's
I kind of like that.
That's a tall one to live up to.
It is. It's asking a lot, but he's already done it, and the 3 is the most since 2011. Josh Hamilton.
We know that.
We all know what that year was. That was a year that should have been, but it was a great year by the Rangers, and Josh Hamilton had a great year, and he had 3 walk-offs that year. Wyatt has 3 this year, and the year's not over yet. The homestand's not over yet. The Rangers, have had 4 walk-offs during the homestand.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you know what we can do? Phone our very good friend Jeff Wilson.
Oh, it's better than a phone.
Oh.
This is like a Zoom, right? Yeah,
there he
is.
Hello,
hey,
Jeff.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Can you hear us? We're good?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
How's the mood?
That took a lot longer. I could use a Z-Biotic for
we just said the same thing.
I heard it. I heard it. Yeah, no, that one.
There it is. Very well done. Yeah, Elijah put it in
15% off. Don't forget.
Yeah. That one turned some hairs gray, I think, tonight. But it was never really in doubt until Stanton hit that ball. But Wyatt Langford has had 2 really, really good nights. And walk-off home run yesterday, kind of a walk-off home run robbery tonight. The Rangers bringing that tying run to the plate would have been pretty scary.
Yeah.
So, those guys got to get the job done. Matt Fessa and Grant Anderson have to get the job done there, and you can't use your closer in a game in the inning in which it starts 10-2. But that's so what they won the game, they won the series. Moving on to the Angels, like you guys mentioned, got a chance to really have if they could take 3 out of 4, that's a hell of a homestand. And moving closer to 500, moving closer to the Mariners in the West as the Mariners
road to 81.
So, there are a lot of good tonight. Don't let the 9th inning cover that up because the Rangers scored 10 runs without a home run. That's something that doesn't happen a lot with this team. And Nathan Eovaldi, so good. Really shouldn't have given up any runs. The first base umpire completely missed that check swing that enabled Gleyber Torres to walk and extend the inning. So another gem by Eovaldi. He's now 9 innings short of the magical 300 number, whereas a player option becomes worth $20 million. He can still opt out of it, but I don't know. Maybe $20 million looks a little bit nicer. Who knows? But good night all around.
Yeah. Well, how did Boch feel about, first of all, Eovaldi's performance? What were his comments about that?
Just, typical Eovaldi, the guy you expect when he goes out there. Had some trouble in the 3rd, got out of that, but when he's throwing strikes, and Eovaldi himself said when he has a lead like that, he doesn't step off the gas. He kind of steps on the gas. He keeps attacking the hitters, trying to get the guys back in the dugout. And they scored 8 runs when he was in the game. I don't know the last time a Ranger starter had that kind of run support, but he did.
Doesn't know about it.
Yeah, I hope Andrew Heaney's got a straitjacket on or something. But just good stuff tonight from the guy you would expect to be good.
I can hear Bochy's postgame sound now because it starts the same. Boy, I'll tell you what, that Nathan Eovaldi, he sure, it's like every single time. And that's awesome. That's why I love Boch.
Well, go ahead, Jeff.
He's consistent. He gets to the point, and he loves pitching. Bruce Bochy loves good starting pitching, and that's he's built his career on that, and hopefully, I didn't ask him. I didn't want to put him in a spot, but I know Bruce Bochy wants Nathan Eovaldi back next year more than he wants just about anything. So that's going to be a priority for the Rangers, whether they have the money or not, or at least it better be a priority, because if it's not, then Ray Davis has some questions to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Love to see Robert W. watching in South Florida and commenting on Nasty Nate. We combined his nicknames in the beginning of the show, Jeff, and called him Nasty Nate the Great. I mean, he kind of had the combination of everything there, didn't he? Where he was nasty enough and, ultimately great performance.
Yeah, he had the one injury kind of in May. He had the side deal not that long ago. Really, it happened against the Yankees. But he's at 147 innings right now. He threw 144 last year. I think he should have 2 or 3 more starts, so he's got a chance to get to once in the 165 range. I think that'd be a successful year. He hasn't had a full season for a while, so good for him. Good for the Rangers. It's crazy. Dane Dunning led the team in innings pitched last year. That's probably a answer to a trivia question that a lot of people aren't going to get. And you need to have a workhorse. And I'm not saying Eovaldi's been a workhorse this year, because he did miss that time in May, but
he's been reliable.
You do need a guy that can get you 7 innings. It does so much for the bullpen. It allows everybody to reset. I know Kirby Yates had to pitch tonight, but he'd have to pitch a lot. David Robertson is going to be totally fresh tomorrow. Leclerc, good or bad, is going to be fresh. So they were able to get out of tonight without having to use their premium arms, their high leverage arms too much. Other than Yates had a few pitches there that he probably didn't need to throw, but the bullpen should be in good shape heading into tomorrow.
Yeah, we noticed the reluctance and then the frustration on the face of Bruce Bochy watching the game. Did anybody ask? Did he express, his frustration about the way things transpired in the 9th?
Not really. He said, "Oh yeah, I've seen games like that before." Of course he has. He's managed 4,200 games or 4,300 games, so of course he's going to see something like that. But it still doesn't mean that it's not going to eat at you a little bit. I mean, that inning, I don't know how long it took. You guys might have had a counter on it.
It was 54 pitches. That's all I know.
54 pitches, yeah.
54 pitches, 4 mound visits,
3 pitchers.
2 inning pitching changes, all this happening with 2 outs.
Yeah.
I don't know. The plate umpires seemed to maybe tighten things up a little bit unnecessarily in a spot where otherwise he shouldn't have. And I think the Yankees get the benefit of the doubt on a lot of calls. I'm not just saying that. I think everybody around the league shares that sentiment. And it just was a bad combination. But as Bruce said, maybe he's trying to justify it to himself. Kirby hadn't pitched in a few days, needed a little work. All right, fine, whatever. The Rangers won. That's the ultimate takeaway here. They won, and they keep winning. And like we were talking about before the game, these guys are on a roll now, and it's nice to see. It's too little, too late, but it's still nice to see.
Yeah. So Nate Lowe had 3 hits. Ezekiel Duran had a couple of RBIs. Adolis had 3 RBIs.
Good night.
It was nice to see sort of the offensive wealth shared, if you will.
Yeah, there were a couple holes there in the middle of the lineup. Or I don't think Young or Heim had hits, but it's good for Zeke Duran, who hasn't played a lot. He's in the lineup for Simeon. I don't know how much that's going to happen. How often that's going to happen, but he threw that one lawn dart out there that hit the line and drove in a run. You like to see production up and down the lineup, and the Rangers had it. Tavares was on base. But then, Wyatt Langford batting second, second game in a row. That's a pretty tough spot for a rookie. I don't care if it's September or not. But really, he's been one of the Rangers' best hitters lately, and you want your best hitters to get the most at bats. So, good to see him continue to do this. We keep talking about him, and I keep writing about him, and it's he's going to be a big player for the Rangers next year. And everything positive that happens the rest of the way, even some of the negative stuff that happens the rest of the way, it's only going to make him better.
Yeah, we see from Cyber Waste another nickname suggestion, Wild Wyatt. What do you think about that one? Let us know.
Wild
And
Wyatt.
we want to get to other topics with Jeff, including a little bit more about Wyatt Langford and more about this game. Also, Corey Seager and Marcus Simeon, neither one played. We've got answers to why coming up. But first, Abby wants to tell you about some flooring.
Oh, you know I love flooring.
Who doesn't?
Well, hopefully if I ever get a house,
Yeah.
I will call my friends at Empire Today. Empire Today is going to be your one-stop shop for flooring. We're not in our normal studio. We're in the podcast section, but our normal studio, I've seen the floors.
It's awesome.
They look pretty good.
Yeah, they're great.
Pretty good. And we have a promo code for you. You can get a pretty good bang for your buck here. We're going to give you a $350 coupon to use if you tell them that you listen to your favorite podcast ever, which is us. We're so flattered. But yeah, it's a one-stop shop for flooring. They are professional and efficient. And, with flooring, I would imagine that a lot of people try to scam you and say it's the most quality or, it's the best price or this, that, and the third. This one is a guaranteed promise. Quality, service, and speed. Get the real deal at the right price. And they make shopping a breeze. Because
so easy.
With phones now, I mean, I don't know. Is it really worth it to drive out to the store, take a look at everything? And if you know what you want, right?
Well, and they have that technology. You take a picture of the room, and they can show you on that picture
like a virtual
what the new floor
design
would look like. It's a great technology that they've got to
and they
let
don't
you picture it.
They don't do anything other than floors. So you're going to get everything that you need for your flooring. So schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code DLLS. Restrictions may apply, but see empiretoday.com/DLLS.
We love it. Please do it, and remember to tell them about your favorite podcast. Also, we want you to know about Sleeper. Not what we're all about to do. No. But Sleeper, the app, it's so great. It's a great app for, you've probably used it before for your fantasy teams in any sport. They've got fantasy sports across the board, but they're expanding. They've got so many more new products now. You can now decide if your favorite player or your least favorite player is going to exceed or not reach the number that's suggested that he might in any given thing. Maybe there was one for Nathan Eovaldi tonight. Would he get, 6 strikeouts? Well, he did. What if it was 5? You said, he'll get more. He got 6. You just won. What if it was 7? Oh, and you said he's going to get less than 7. Oh, you just won, right? You can win in so all these different ways. If you said, how many RBIs is Adolis Garcia going to get tonight? I promise you, 3 was over whatever the number was, right? So you'd say, we're taking Adolis for the over, and you win. That's how it works. It's cool. It's fun. It's Sleeper, and they love to help you. And in fact, so much so, they want to give you some free money. Use the code DLLS Rangers, also, again, your favorite podcast, and they get $100 first deposit match. So you put $100 in, they put $100 in. It's up to $100. Unfortunately, it's not like you can put $5,000 in there and they'll match it. They'll match up to $100. So do that, get the match, and then go crazy.
Guess what? You could sign up to be a diehard, and you'd have $25 left.
Yeah, look at that.
Just some simple math. To point out, I think Jeff mentioned that Heim and Young did not get a hit or anything tonight. That is correct. And previous to tonight, Josh Young had a 5-game hitting streak, which does come to a close. Yeah,
it does. And that was really the only those were the only 2 guys in the lineup, as you mentioned, that didn't get hits tonight. Other than that, the offense, the load
looks like 2023,
was shared.
baby.
The load was shared. And really, in some ways, not like 2023, because they hit home runs in virtually every game in 2023, and they didn't hit one tonight. And to score 10 and not hit a home run, that's a great accomplishment, and it's rare in the game of baseball.
I guess
today.
All those 1-run games were adding up, and baseball gods said, you're due for a double digit.
Yep. Yeah,
I like it.
No doubt. It was overdue, as a matter of fact. And Robert W. down in South Florida, they're saying Wyatt seems to enjoy the action and challenge. And look, to be honest, all of them do. But Wyatt, And again, I bet you might be a Gator fan too, Robert, if you're in Florida. Wyatt comes from that Florida baseball program, and he's just, and we've had a chance to meet his dad too. It's just it's a sports, not just a baseball. It's a sports family,
Oh,
and
his dad is like his biggest fan on Twitter. It's adorable.
by far. And his dad's like a big man.
Yeah.
I mean, his dad's not messing around either. So, and Wyatt does, he has that perpetual smile on his face. And I think Robert's right. I think he is thoroughly enjoying the moment and what he's done. And we've talked about this on the show. What he's doing right now, especially offensively, is he is making adjustments. It's the key to staying in the big leagues. Getting to the big leagues is hard enough. Staying in the big leagues, believe it or not, is even harder because you get there, you have some success, and then the pitchers adjust to you.
Right.
And the challenge on you, it's incumbent upon you, if you want to stay in the big leagues, to adjust to that challenge.
Which
and
was
the things that Wyatt's done here lately.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
it was so telling when he hit the walk-off because, like we said, he saw Clay Holmes the night before. It's really rare that a rookie player is able to kind of download, a scouting report of his own. Because it's one thing to read it. I mean, all of the players talk about the scouting reports that they're given, and we've discussed that, like, this is a new ball game for him. Florida is a place that doesn't use analytics a lot. It's kind of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. So for him to not only read, because he's a student of the game.
Yeah.
Donnie Eckers is like, this guy, he's a sponge, eats, sleeps, breathes baseball. So for him to be able to read something on paper, but then to be able to be in a game scenario, realize what's going on, use it to his advantage, I mean, that's something that takes guys a while to do. And for him to do that in a series alone, I mean, incredible stuff. And, he had that big moment last night. He's the first Rangers rookie ever to record a walk-off grand slam,
cool? Yeah.
So you think about what he's doing. He had his biggest moments with College World Series, and man, for Wyatt to he had a lot of expectation and a lot of pressure. It took a little bit of time trying to get that first home run, but give him his time. He's, everyone has growing pains and learning lessons, but all in all, he's done incredibly well for a rookie. He's also fifth in rookies with RBI.
Yeah, 20 doubles so far this season with the double tonight. That's the seventh time a Rangers rookie has been able to achieve 20 or more, and he's going to get more doubles. That's starting just with the Rangers, not the Senators organization. And the last one who did it was a rookie last year called Josh Young. So he's in good company already. Yeah. And those young guns, Abby mentioned that Josh didn't have a hit tonight, and that's been rare of late. Mm-hmm. He's been hitting the ball well, and he has come back from the injury, begun to look like the Josh Young of last year. That's another thing that will help this Rangers team down the stretch of this season as they continue to drive for 81. Look, we almost joke about it. I promise you. That's what they want. That's what they strive for. They want to win them all.
Yeah, they're not throwing in the towel. I do want to talk about Josh Young. Not a great night tonight. It's okay. You're going to have some. But since returning from his injury, which was July 29th, batting average of .248, 30 hits, 4 homers, 8 RBI, 11 runs scored, 31 games. So, he's had such a small sample size this season. Again, I would give my right arm for Josh Young to be able to play a full season and just avoid injury. But it's going to take him a second to get hot, and I think he can do it. So
yeah, and as Jeff and us were talking about yesterday, don't think that Josh Young is necessarily injury prone. His are weird. They've been weird injuries. We talked yesterday about the thumb. We talked yesterday about, this year's injury, the shattered wrist. So they're very strange. And just because he's been injured doesn't mean that he's necessarily one of those injury-prone guys. You see, Jeff is back with us now, and we're just talking about these young offensive guns. Wyatt Langford, Jeff, gets his 20th double of the year tonight, and he follows Josh Young, but there's only 7 Rangers rookies in history to have gotten to 20 doubles.
Yeah, you have to play a lot of the season to get 20 doubles. You get enough at bats to do that. Traditionally, you can go through Rangers history, I guess, and you can pick out, who the good rookies were, Mike Hargrove and Jim Sundberg, Neftali Feliz, Teixeira had a good rookie year.
Ruben Sierra.
Ruben Sierra, of course, yeah. So Josh Young,
Yeah.
and I'm sure there are others I'm forgetting, so don't get mad at me, guys. But it is hard to be an everyday player as a rookie. You're talking about the adjustments. It's harder for younger players to make adjustments because they don't have any experiences to lean on to and say, oh, I remember this in the minor leagues. Well, guess what? Wyatt Langford was in the minor leagues for 2 damn months.
Right.
He doesn't have a lot
People forget that.
to lean on. So he's had
No.
to pick, on the job training, thrown into the fire, whatever you want to say. It's a legitimate thing. And so he is at this point having something to lean on. And the Clay Holmes thing, as Abby pointed out, is a really good example of that. But for this team with the financial uncertainty going forward, needs young players because they're affordable. They're going to make the league minimum. The league minimum is what, 750, 800,000. So
I take the league minimum.
if you can get a couple, 3 guys who are going to produce, let's say, next year it's Langford, Evan Carter, Josh Smith is still going to be at the league minimum. He might be ARB eligible. Anyway, he's going to be affordable. And then you're going to have potentially Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter kind of in there. Cody Bradford not making a ton of money. So that helps balance the books. It allows ownership to go out and get the free agent pieces you need to make deals at the trade deadline. You could see a lot of relievers next year, I think, who have big arms, maybe not a ton of experience, but big arms who could come up and be affordable bullpen pieces. So, that's, you want guys to produce, but there's so much to putting together a baseball roster and a budget, especially in a time of financial uncertainty. Even though your owner's worth $3.1 billion and is going to make a ton of money when the team sells, you still he doesn't want to be Steve Cohen from the Mets or the Steinbrenners or the folks out running the Dodgers. But this market size, and I think the attendance, you can see that this market can support a team and can have a payroll like one of those teams, as long as the owner wants to go ahead and let it happen. So there need to be some conversations. Need to present it a new way to Mr. Davis. Regardless of what happens with the TV money, he can supplement it. He can't take it with him when he's gone. So go ahead and spend it. Go out a hero. Not that he's on death's door or whatever, but the sun is setting on Mr. Davis. All right, let's be honest here. And I just think that but the young players will help convince him. If the Rangers can say, hey, we're going to plug in these 5 young players, they're going to make a combined $4 million. That's going to really help the budget.
Yeah, it really does. And to your point about the attendance, 32,223 tonight. Not only is that a palindrome, but it is one of those. It's another night of over 30 on the whole homestand. The Oakland series drew well. You're probably averaging somewhere around 30,000 for the homestand, and Oakland was included. Let's see how they do. With the Angels in town for the weekend series, but they're drawing extremely well and have been all season long, despite the struggles that they had in the middle of the season. Obviously, playing a lot better now. We mentioned it before the commercials there, Jeff, about the first time since Bruce Bochy has been here that he didn't write either the name of Marcus Semien or Corey Seager. At least one of those two has been in his lineup every day. Let's talk about Seager. He's got a sore hip.
Yeah, I think it's more than sore. I think it's hurting him. It's limiting his ability to move around at shortstop and to run the bases. I mean, he's never been a fast guy because he's pretty big, but he's not as slow as he's shown here the last let's say month. You haven't seen him go first to third. He hasn't scored from second on a few occasions, and when he probably should have or might have done it earlier in the year. So, but the key here is the Rangers don't want a repeat of last offseason when he finished the year, rested up, and it was time to get going, and the sports hernia that nobody told us he was playing with didn't respond, and so he had to have surgery on January 30th, which was 2 weeks before pitchers and catchers reported. Missed all of spring training except for the very last game. Then he played those 2 silly exhibition games, and it was go time. So he's having to learn on the fly what to do. There was a stretch from at the end of April into early May where he went 3 for 47 at one point and was batting 217. So since that point, though, he's batted almost 300 with 28 of his 30 homers. So he's obviously a great player. You've got to have him in the lineup, and if he can start whatever opening day is this year, May 26th, or God, it keeps getting earlier, but whatever day it is, if he's healthy on day one and hitting, that's just going to help the Rangers, going to help the lineup, the whole lineup. You know, if Corey Seager's struggling and guys see it, they've got to think they've got to pick up the slack. So they press, they do other things, and they might be trying to do things that they're not able to do. You know, so you need Corey Seager to kind of be the glue there, hold things together, and be healthy and be productive. And so, let's say this is serious and he needs to have surgery. All right, get it done tomorrow. All right, get him back as healthy as he can be, so he can start working out in time to be ready for spring training. You know, I think Corey Seager learned this year that yes, he needs spring training. This isn't CeeDee Lamb holding out and missing all of camp. Okay, this is these guys. You know, spring training's for the pitchers, John, as you know, but these hitters get a lot out of spring training. And if anybody thought they didn't, look at Corey Seager.
Yeah, that's valid.
Yeah, and it's funny you mention it, 3 for 47. Everybody has a 3 for 47 at some point, right? But when you say it was Corey Seager, it's like, wow. I mean, he's never 3 for 47. So significant.
He
that was the impact.
For sure. There and you know, and I also wonder if, as the Rangers are talking about, you know, the term workload management, which I cannot stand.
Yeah.
I hate the concept, but as they're talking about resting these guys like Simeon tonight down the stretch to get them ready for the offseason so they can be healthy and be ready to go on day one, I wonder now in hindsight if they underestimated how much the extra month of ball impacted the team. You know, there are people who were around the team in spring training who thought that they were tired, that there wasn't a lot of life. You know, the Rangers tried to give Jonah Heim and Adolis Garcia extra time, and to rest. You know, Adolis was injured in the World Series, and it just didn't work. I think Jonah Heim looks tired. He caught more games than he'd ever caught before. Andrew Kisner didn't help earlier this year because he couldn't hit, so they were leaning on Jonah to catch a lot. He just might have worn down a lot sooner than he expected to, or that, you know, and these guys would never admit it, but I just think the eye test might have told them, yeah, this is a tired team, and we got to do right by him this offseason.
No rest for the weary. 4-game series coming up against the Angels. What do you think constitutes a good series? 4-gamers are hard to win.
Oh, yeah.
You got to win 3 out of 4 to win the series. Is 2-2 enough for you? Do you need them to win 3? You looking for a sweep? Let us know what you think. We're back with Jeff in just a minute, but first, we want to tell you to become a diehard. This is a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. The diehard thing is, as we've mentioned before, it's the P1, it's the Tolo. It's being completely involved with us and us involved with you, right? We appreciate all of you who are out there, but the diehards, man, you guys are going to get some inside scoops. You're going to get all kinds of written content from Jeff and from T.R. Sullivan. He mentioned I'm going to write some stuff. Abby's going to write some stuff. We're all going to be contributing to that.
Writing the tweets.
Yeah, well, that's right. Abby's social. Yeah, that's right. She writes short, very short. But
very short.
That said, you also will have the opportunity to do what we call our trips, our events, and you'll get 20% off those. Those will cost, but you as a diehard will get 20% off those. What are those events? Well, it's a good question. During the season, and we may not have any of these yet this year, but next year we're going to have watch parties. We're going to go to a club or a restaurant or a bar around town, and we're going to have a watch party when the Rangers are playing out somewhere, and you get to come in there and hang out with us.
We got to think bigger.
Like
we're road tripping. I mean,
and that's the other thing. If the Rangers ever, if they get the Japanese pitcher this offseason, they will get a trip to Tokyo. We're going.
I think we should go.
Yeah, and you are too. as a diehard. 20% off.
There you go.
It's a no-brainer. And look at
The
become a
gift
diehard,
that
and you get a
keeps
free
giving.
T-shirt. And there's some awesome shirts. I really like that one on the left with the blue and each of the logos of the teams, right? So that's the Rangers S and the Stars L and the Cowboys
Do you
blue
think
and
Jonah
the Mavericks
Heim
L.
would like the one on the left? Because we talked about his tattoo. That's the Dallas skyline.
Yeah, he possibly would. And the old school cowboy one is awesome. There's one that I've actually ordered, the one that you can kind of see. It's not exactly the that shot of the skyline, but there's a shot of the skyline with an oval. That's the one that I've got coming. So anyway, get yourself that free T-shirt, and then you've almost paid for about half of your diehard subscription. So do it. Become a diehard.
I mean, if you use Sleeper, then it's $100.
Yeah.
So, the merch is a pretty good thing. We're going to have hats soon. I love a good hat. Wearing one now. Jeff lives by the hat. We've got sweatshirts on the way. It's cozy season. I'm wearing a sweatshirt right now. I would love if it said DLLS.
Yeah.
That'd be so fun. But we have a store. And do you have family or friends in Phoenix, Chicago, Denver?
Everywhere. I do.
Well, you could send them this link.
Philly. Philly.
Yeah. You could send them this link, and they could get some cool merch, too. So maybe they're not in Texas. Doesn't matter. Or if you're just a Bears fan. Not really sure why you would be. But if you were, you could go to store.allcitynetwork.com. Pick one out. I am going to get myself the Texas Chew. I like that.
Yep.
It's the bubblegum wrap. Because that's a staple for me when I'm at the field.
Yep.
I always get 2 watermelon flavors.
Do you?
Yeah.
And chew them both at the same time?
Yeah, I got to work on the jaw.
Wow.
I do have good news for listeners everywhere. The Astros lost tonight.
There you go.
Hey,
somebody on the chat was already asking, like, I feel, like this is all going so well. Maybe we can catch the Astros. Let's tap the brakes there
for
a little
sure,
bit.
But we will celebrate small victories.
We'll take what we can get.
One step for Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
Another step. No, so anyway, the Reds beat the Astros 12-5.
Yeah,
so,
and,
today was a good day.
Realistically, though, as Jeff has mentioned, I think already once tonight, but realistically catching the Mariners – that's a thing. Catching the Astros might not be, but they could catch the Mariners this year and continue to strive for 81.
The Mariners are winning tonight 16-3 over the A's, but the margin's 3 games. The Rangers and the Mariners play 7 more times this year. So pretty simple math there. It's definitely possible. The Mariners are a disappointment again. It's perennial now at this point. I never will believe in the Mariners until they go back to the playoffs. They were a very popular pick last year, a popular pick this year. They almost made it last year. They have great pitching. They just don't. They can't hit. They could move the fences in 100 feet, and the Mariners still wouldn't score. All right, so I just think that this is set up to be a Rangers division for a while. I think the Astros have some questions to answer. Justin Verlander, who just came back, he's done after this year, at least in terms of a contract. Are they going to re-sign Alex Bregman? That's a big deal. If they don't, who are they going to have to fill it? Their farm system's garbage. So, there are issues there. The Angels, God love Ron Washington, my buddy, a guy who's taught me so much about the game, but that team's not very good. They're kind of in a rebuild right now. Their farm system is better, but their first-round pick just got hurt, so I don't know what's going on there. They have Ben Joyce, who throws 105.5 miles per hour. Wash had a good quote today. He said, "I hope he doesn't try to throw 110 and his arm comes off with it." So, it's
very Ron Washington quote.
But their starting pitching's a disaster. I mean, they just if you look at this division as a whole and really strip away any biases and just look at it, it should be the Mariners and the Rangers. It really should be. And I just think it's going to be the Rangers in a good position here for the next 4 or 5 years. I just firmly believe that's going to be the case. I do think the Astros are going to decline. The A's are tough. Mm-hmm. They've played. They have the second best record in the West since the All-Star break. They have that great closer who Josh Young beat the other day. They have some sneaky starting pitchers you don't know. They have some big arms in the bullpen. Lawrence Butler's a really good player. J.D. Bleday, Brent Rooker, but at some point they're going to run out. They're not going to be able to afford these guys, or they're going to have to
Yep.
trade them. And
Yep.
maybe by the time they get to that Las Vegas, there'll be some money, but that's still 3 years away.
Yeah.
And this owner has not shown a willingness to spend any money. So it just feels like this is set up for the Rangers, and they just got to figure out what happened this year with the offense.
Yeah. No, that's exciting, actually, when you bring it up that way and look at the big picture. In the smaller picture, the smaller frame, we've got a 4-game series with the Angels, which you mentioned. That means the great Ron Washington and his club are coming to town. Let's take a look at the matchup for tomorrow's game, and it's a Cody Bradford day on the mound. And I just believe, Jeff, as the season progresses in this final 20 games or 20 plus games, Cody Bradford is going to be just highlighted in the sense that they really want to see him, A, continue to develop and improve, but B, make sure that he looks like a guy who will be a big-time candidate for one of the spots in the rotation next year.
For sure.
Yeah, I think at this point the sample size is large enough to believe in Cody Bradford. I know he didn't pitch a lot this year, and he hasn't pitched a ton since he's been back, but it has been a full month since he's been back, and it's been a really, really good situation. It was great before he was injured, only 3 starts, but these guys just love him. He doesn't have overpowering stuff, but he's prepared. He gets better as the game goes along. You talk about going through the order third time. Cody Bradford gets better. He's very good with his pitch sequencing. He knows how to pitch these guys, how to attack them, and if he's around the strike zone with his fastball, they're going to chase the changeup off the plate. He's going to sneak in a little curveball on him. It's just good stuff, and it's efficient, and he just doesn't get bugged on the mound. He could give up 3 balls off the wall like he did against the Pirates, and he still hangs around for 7 innings. They ended up losing that game because they didn't score any runs. But if this is entirely up to Bruce Bochy and Mike Maddox, Cody Bradford is going to be in the rotation next year.
Yeah.
We've talked about Wyatt, and he probably will be the Rangers Rookie of the Year and the awards that the baseball writers hand out. But damn, Cody Bradford, even though he hasn't had much of a season in terms of innings and whatnot, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a couple votes. I mean, it's a real promising season for him, and So anyway, I think you should trust in Bruce Bochy and Mike Maddox on their judgment of a starting pitcher. Yep. And so if they like Cody Bradford, then I like Cody Bradford.
That's great. That's a great decision. And then we don't know who's pitching on the Friday game, but you've got Leiter and Heaney to finish out the series. So yeah, I love the way this is setting up.
Yeah, it looks like Urania is probably the leading candidate. I'll throw this out there, even though it's not going to happen, but Kumar Rocker, his start has been pushed back to Friday for Round Rock. I don't think he's going to come to the majors, but hey, he'd be ready. He'd be on his normal rest. So I honestly, if they don't want to start Urania or Chase Anderson, who should probably be close to ready, I sure would like to see a pitcher named Dane Acker at Frisco get an opportunity. He's had a good year, just steady numbers. He's been steady. He's overcome a little hiccup he had where he wasn't able to put away hitters. He's eligible for the Rule 5 draft. So, and to answer Coop's question, I believe Cody Bradford did not run out of rookie status last year. So I am pretty sure that he maintained rookie status this year and is a rookie, even though he pitched some last year.
Yeah. Also, S. Cooper has been listening like all week.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that, but we appreciate you.
We appreciate that very much, and then what do we think and expect out of Jack Leiter? Improvement again? Well, I mean, he took 10 steps forward last start.
You you'd be disappointed if he didn't go at least 5 innings, right? I mean, or maybe if he isn't efficient over 4 innings, but there's still 4 good innings, you might be okay with that. But you want him to keep staying on the tack and not walking guys. And I think then you let whatever happens. Bruce Bochy was talking about his slider isn't quite consistent enough, so maybe he can work on that pitch. But just keep going. Build off of what he did. I mean, he did it against a Yankees lineup that can score at will sometimes, and with 2 MVP candidates. We talked about the big 3, or with Stanton too. Not an easy lineup to navigate, and he did it very, very well. So hopefully it's a good Saturday night for Jack.
Well, things get better with time.
Yep.
And I mean, we're like a weekend now. We get better with time.
Yeah.
But like we were saying, are we the good luck charm?
Yeah, we are. We absolutely are. 11-6 in their last 11-5 in their last 16 games, and this team is 7-2 since we started doing the DLLS Rangers podcast. So we're definitely responsible. We're the good luck charm. Jeff, we appreciate you hanging out late.
I think Coop might be right. I think Bradford might have just been on the outside.
Did he use up?
Good catch.
But anyway,
it's all good.
He still had a good year.
At least you had time to check.
We're back tomorrow for an early.
Yeah, we got a noon show tomorrow. We're looking forward to that. We'll spend a little more time talking about that series against these Angels, and probably walk down memory lane, all of our memories, particularly Jeff's memories, mine too, of Ron Washington. We got lots to talk about tomorrow. Tonight, the talk is great. The Rangers win. Forget the 9th inning.
Yeah.
10-6 was the final. The Rangers win the series from the New York Yankees. As I said at the beginning, they beat the damn Yankees. We're awfully happy about that. So for Abby and Jeff and Elijah, I'm John. Thanks for joining us. And we will see you again tomorrow on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
Good night.
We all silly like the mayor.